Please join me in a spirit of meditation. Sit comfortably, breathe easily, relax into your physical being. Your eyes can be open and closed, whatever works for you this morning. Let yourself sit quietly and at ease. Allow your body to be relaxed and open, your breathing natural, your heart easy. Begin the practice of gratitude by feeling how year after year you have cared for your own life and yourself. Now let yourself acknowledge all that has supported you in this care. With gratitude, I remember the people, animals, plants, insects, creatures of the sky and air and sea and water, fire and earth, all whose joyful exertion blesses my life every day. With gratitude, I remember the care and labor of 1,000 generations of elders and ancestors who came before me. I offer my gratitude for the blessings of this earth I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the measure of health I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the family and friends I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the community I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the teachings and lessons I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the life I have been given. And we will end our time of meditation by singing together. The words will be on the screen.
Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for the time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Thank you. This reading is by Tony Hoagland, titled Butter. I think it was Marie who first taught me the art of spreading flattery on people, then smearing it around like marmalade on slabs of whole wheat bread. Or how we spray them lightly with a mist of unexpected praise. Why did it take me so long to see that the power of sweetness is as great as the power of the river and the sun? If I can't improve the world by scorching it with truth, I will lavish the world with the power of butter. I will feel the force of it to feel good about itself. First, I will make it blush. Then I will step back and watch it shine.
Decades ago, in preparing to become a credentialed Unitarian Universalist minister, I completed an internship with the night ministry in Chicago. The youth outreach program was an after-school setting for 18 to 24-year-olds who were experiencing homelessness. 18 to 24-year-olds who were living on the streets of Chicago because they had no home. Let that sink in. Many were thrown out of their homes by their families for their sexual orientation or gender identity, and all too many hailed from evangelical households. And others had to run away from home because life there had become so impossible due to the emotional, sexual, physical, or drug abuse in their families of origin. Is that a good sign? Is this better?
No, that's good. I'm waving to the kid.
So our cue is 3 jumping jacks if there's a problem. So maybe a decade later, I was out with friends in a New Orleans-themed restaurant in Chicago. And we were having a conversation, and then one of the waiters asked, "Excuse me, I heard you guys talking." He turned to me and he said, "Are you Rudra?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And I was going, "Who is this guy? I don't know him." "The Rudra who worked at the night ministry." "Yes, as a matter of fact, that's me." He introduced himself, and then I recognized him. I'm sorry, it's been like more than 20 years. I don't remember his name anymore. But he turned out to be one of those teen boys whom I mentored way back when with the youth outreach program. By then he had graduated community college, he had a place to live, and he had a steady job. He was working as a waiter at this, nice upscale restaurant. That filled my heart with joy. And I'm so grateful for him, and I'm so grateful for him introducing himself that day to let me know what had become of him. So then I asked him how he remembered me, what triggered that memory. When he was kicked out of his family, he had no male role models to work with, and I was the only I was the only cisgendered male working in the youth outreach program. Nearly everybody else was a woman or a lesbian. Sometimes you can never tell how influential you will be to someone by simply doing the simple things that you do all the time. It's sort of like the butterfly or the karma effect. We can never know how our actions will influence the good to spread throughout the world. And I'm very thankful for that entire incident with him, that he introduced himself, and for my time with the night ministry. Our shared Unitarian Universalist values remind us of the shared value of generosity that flows out of love. In generosity, we cultivate a spirit of gratitude and of hope. So a few years ago, when the Unitarian Universalist Association was discussing this new set of shared Unitarian Universalist values, a question came up. And one of those questions at General Assembly was, how do we relate those two values, generosity and gratitude? We have them interrelated in our shared values. So an amendment was proposed to replace generosity with gratitude in the shared values. And Reverend Janet Pearsons explained the stance. Gratitude, people believed, is such an important spiritual practice that it should be considered a higher value than generosity. It should be named as one of Unitarian Universalism's core expressions of our faith and beliefs. But not everyone agreed with her. Reverend Cheryl Walker responded, emphasizing that the ultimate goal of gratitude is not to be grateful, but to become a more generous, a more giving person. She explained, and I'm paraphrasing her words, that she could merely be grateful for what she has, but if she's not generous with her time and commitments, then her gratitude would simply be an indulgence in individualism. Gratitude inspires her to extend outside herself, to send blessings to others, and to be generous with other people. Gratitude is more than just an attitude. Gratitude practice is more than just making a gratitude list like Jen was talking about earlier today. And we know spiritual traditions from around the world teach us to engage intentionally in gratitude in some form. Every day in our meditation or prayer time, we're invited to think of at least one thing that blessed our day with, maybe 3 things that we have to be thankful about, maybe 5 things that we are grateful for. You've heard teachings like this all your life. So Tuesday nights, typically I lead liturgical night prayer, Compline, online for the Order of Corpus Christi. It's essentially a group of United Church of Christ clergy with a couple of Unitarian Universalists thrown in. And then at one point in Compline, all are invited to share prayers for oneself and prayers for others and prayers of thanksgiving for what happened in the day. So this is what typically happens on those Tuesday nights. People typically pray for world peace, for the sick, for the shelter challenged, for those facing food insecurity, and these are serious issues in our country. People pray for protection from fascism and the restoration of democracy in our United States. And people also pray to repent of our American original sin of racism. But only rarely does someone express some thanksgiving, some gratitude for what happened to them. Maybe there is a real reason why we need to think about our Thanksgivings on a daily basis, not just every once in a while, not just when it comes to mind, to be very intentional about what we are thankful for. So the Talmud, the collection of Jewish lore and explanations of the Torah, instructs us to recite 100 blessings throughout the day. 100 blessings. Someone figured out that this means you have to think of a blessing every 12 minutes. And there's a blessing for almost everything in Judaism, especially in Orthodox Judaism. A blessing for getting up in the morning, a blessing for going to sleep, a blessing for eating, etc., etc., etc. A blessing for just about everything that happens in life. This spiritual practice of counting your blessings encourages an attitude of gratitude. But gratitude still needs to be cultivated. It just doesn't happen. We have to be intentional. Belonging to a community such as ours, such as this, Cub, is one way for us to foster our own gratitude. We are thankful for one another, for each other, for our friendships, for our relationships, for our shared strivings to make this world a better place for all, and for the graces that we receive in this intentional religious community. We voluntarily come here Sunday mornings to be with each other, to build beloved community with each other, but also to bring that grace of beloved community to the larger world around us. We like to claim that love is all you need. Love is all you need. Love is all you need. All you need is love. I'm sorry, I misquoted our password. And when we say that all you need is love, we are being countercultural. Think of the messages that we're getting out there in our society nowadays. We're saying stop to all the bigotry and hatred and lies that surround us by telling people all you need is love. We're saying there's another way, there's a better way of creating a just world for all. All you need is love. To nurture that love, we intentionally strive to live in a spirit of gratitude. And in doing so, we're sort of like paying it forward. We're paying that love forward. Gratitude is countercultural for our credit cards. Think of the upcoming seasons that we have. With gratitude, we counter our consumerist mentality. Advertising keeps telling us, keeps repeating to us, keeps repeating the lie over and over, keeps brainwashing us that we are insufficient and inadequate, that we need to buy something to be made whole. The forces of corporate capitalism continually tell us that we are needy, we need more stuff, more money, more approval, more comfort, more entertainment, more vacations, more expensive items, and the list goes on and on and on, and there is no end to that list of needs. And those messages simply breed profound dissatisfaction, profound unhappiness. It infects people with a compulsion to acquire things that delivers them into the cruel bondage of debt and things and hoarding and junk at home. Capitalism makes people unhappy and thankless. We counter those messages when we proclaim that every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion. You don't need a credit card to do so. You don't need that new Apple smartphone to do so. You are worthy, you are dignified, you are loved, and you live in a world of compassion, but unfortunately, we have to look for that compassion in our world. Being thankful for what we have, being thankful for having met our basic needs. We proclaim to the world that we are sufficient, that we are adequate. Gratitude is liberating. It helps us to see that what we have is enough and that we can live and thrive and enjoy our lives and ourselves and our relationships given our own circumstances. It builds a sense of sufficiency that is deeply subversive to the consumerist economy. So Elie Wiesel was a World War II Holocaust survivor, and he tells the story of a young woman who died in a concentration camp. She knew that she was dying, but she was still always cheerful. And she explained to Elie when he would come visit her, he was a physician, so one of his duties was to care for the sick. She would say to him, "I am grateful that fate has hit me so hard. In my former life, I was spoiled and did not take spiritual accomplishments seriously." And then she pointed out through the window of her hut and she said, "There is a tree here who is my only friend in this loneliness." Through that window, she could see just one branch of a chestnut tree. And on that branch, in that moment when they had that conversation, Elie says there were 2 blossoms. And she said, "I often talk to that tree, and the tree answers me in my thoughts. It says to me, I am here. I am here. I am life, life abundant." We can be grateful for the ordinary and even in the most dire of circumstances. Breath. That's a heavy story. The next one is heavier. In the tunnels of Gaza, gratitude was a survival technique. In his memoir, the freed hostage Eli Sharabi tells the plight of a group of 7 hostages who were held together. He ended up mentoring them. He was the older one of the crowd. He encouraged them to think of the common good beyond their individual needs. They defied their captors' cruelty by sharing their food when Hamas tried to torture one of them by denying one of the group food. An ultra-Orthodox Jewish captive in the group would recite the grace after meals. Before bedtime, each hostage would share one good thing that happened to them that day. Slowly, that gratitude worked itself into other parts of their days. Sharabi writes, "Hope is never something that comes easily. It's always something that you've got to fight for, to work on. Like the Kiddush every Friday night, like Elia's Havdalah songs at the end of every Sabbath, like the prayers that open every morning. This circle of Thanksgiving is something that we stick to, cling to, cleave to search for something good, to stay optimistic, to win." Another breath, please. Those are heavy examples of gratitude and how gratitude has helped people through the most dire of circumstances. And so I ask us today, can we be grateful in tough times such as those that our own country, the United States, Estados Unidos, or as the Ojibwe call it, Chi Mukman Kiing. Federal employees have gone a month without pay, and yet our government continues to spend billions of dollars on countless needless things that we do not need in our country. And as of yesterday, 42 million of Americans who receive SNAP food assistance are looking where their next meal comes from. That is 1/8 of our country's population. Why does 1/8 of our country need food assistance? Think about it. If employers paid a living wage with benefits, we would not need food assistance in the first place. But that's not the reality in our United States today. So is this the plan? To starve people, to starve SNAP benefits recipients into compliance, like the Hamas tried to do with the hostages? Is that what's going on in our country today? The American dream has become a ghoulish nightmare this Halloween. Breathe. Gratitude is a core Native American value. I'm quoting Potawatomi environmentalist Robin Wall Kimmerer. In the view of the Anishinaabe, the indigenous peoples of the Great Lakes, it's not just fruits like serviceberry that are considered gifts. Rather, all of the sustenance that the land provides, from fish to firewood, everything that makes our lives possible, the splints for baskets, roots for medicine, the trees whose bodies make our homes, and the pages for our newspapers. All of it is provided by the lives of more than human beings. When we speak of these not as things, but as gifts, our whole relationship to the natural world changes. At this time of year, we watch the cycles of nature turn the endless wheel of time. The flowers have faded, the grasses are wilting, and the trees are changing their colors in a marvelous display that inspires awe and wonder. And slowly, maybe more quickly than we want, They're turning yellow, they're turning brown, they're falling to the ground. They shower us with their leaves. Can we be thankful for this beauty, but also the losses that come with the loss of beauty? Can we be thankful for our experience of Mother Earth and all the other losses in our lives? It's no wonder that at this time of year, at fall, with the turning of the seasons, with the leaves disappearing, with nature changing, various Northern Hemisphere cultures celebrate Samhain, Dia de los Muertos, All Souls Day, which in fact is today. Families visit the graves of their loved ones, decorate them with flowers and votive candles, and remember the lives of their beloveds with meals and gatherings and other remembrances. Another time for gratitude and remembrance. In a UU World article from a good while ago, the Reverend Galen Guggenrich asks if gratitude should be the center of Unitarian Universalist theology. Notice I'm looping around to the initial thought. Why gratitude, Reverend Galen writes? Two dimensions of gratitude make it fitting as our defining religious purpose. One has to do with the discipline of gratitude, and the other has to do with an ethic of gratitude. The discipline of gratitude reminds us how utterly dependent we are on the people and the world around us for everything that we need. From this flows an ethic of gratitude that obligates us to create a future that justifies an increasing sense of gratitude from the human family as a whole. The ethic of gratitude demands that we nurture the world that nurtures us in return. We receive and we give, and we receive and we give, and that is the relationship of generosity, gratitude, sort of like a yin-yang circle, generosity and gratitude circling, encompassing, enfolding, blanketing, cocooning our lives. Breathe. We're grateful for each other and for all that life offers, because we are interdependent on one another, and we pay our gratitude forward in a spirit of generosity with those who struggle to meet their own human needs. Isn't that the nutshell of what Unitarian Universalism sort of is all about?